Hello, hi. I hope everyone's having a good day. Thank you again for tuning into my YouTube channel. Um, I have an important topic today that I want to talk about. Um, I gotta stop saying but what I want to talk about is today's title. It's extremely important that people with disabilities, people with muscular dystrophy, pursue meaning, not happiness. If you are a parent or a loved one or a friend or whatever of somebody with muscular dystrophy, you you want them to pursue meaning, not happiness. I understand that as a parent, your number one goal might be for your son. I just want to make sure they're happy and I just want to make sure they're comfortable. While it's completely understandable, that is not good. And I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain why. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk to you about why pursuing meaning and not happiness will, in a roundabout way, bring your life meaning, purpose, and therefore, as a byproduct, sometimes happiness. We're never going to be happy all the time. So, setting a goal of pursuing happiness is something you are undoubtedly going to fail at sometimes, and it will make you miserable. Failing will make you miserable. The constant failure of meeting the goal of happiness will make you miserable. Will make your son miserable. So, I could go on for a while about this, but what I want to do is I want to share with you somebody who is, quite frankly, smarter than me. Um, he is a clinical psychologist out from the University of Toronto. He has studied human suffering more than almost anybody on planet Earth, and he's very well spoken. He's a clinical psychologist. He teaches at the University of Toronto. He has private therapy. He does lectures. He tours all over the world. You might know him. His name is Jordan Peterson. Now, Jordan Peterson has a lot of great things to say on this. Jordan Peterson is also a disciple of Carl Jung, another great clinical psychologist who speaks on how the meaning of life is found in suffering. Because we know as people with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, with disabilities, as parents of people with muscular dystrophy, we are going to see suffering. There is going to be suffering. That is unavoidable. And trying to avoid it is not helpful, will not help, will not benefit you in any way, shape, or form. I also am going to suggest that if you are struggling, before you even watch this, if you are struggling with finding meaning in your life, with finding purpose in your life, if you are trying to pursue a good life, a happy life, and it is eluding you, watch this video, but also check out two books that I put in the description. One is a book by Jordan Peterson called 12 Rules for Life, an Antidote to Chaos. In that book, he gives you 12 simple rules to follow, some harder than others, but it's about living a life of meaning. It's about living a life of purpose outside the chaos. I really recommend it. And another book that really had a profound impact on my life is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Now, Viktor Frankl, another clinical psychologist who was a prisoner of war, at a Nazi concentration camp during the World War II. And he managed to escape, but pretty much all his friends and family were killed in the war. And he realized that out of suffering comes meaning. All right. So let me get into what I have to share with you a bit more. The first clip, I have four or five clips here from Jordan Peterson. I'm going to play them. I'm going to provide a little commentary afterwards and then play the next one. So this is going to be a bit of a longer video, maybe 20 minutes, but I do hope you stick right to the end and watch, okay? I hope you do. One second, please. All right. There we go. We got the video. Except I'm going to make me bigger. And the video smaller. Because the video is not that important. It's the audio that's much more important. All right.
I've said that some people will tell you that the purpose of life is to be happy, and those people are idiots. Happiness is something that's done in by the first harsh blow that reality deals you. There are many circumstances in life where the expectation of happiness as a response will put you in absolutely the wrong psychological state to be prepared for what must be done. People are built, so to speak, to experience a very wide range of motivational and emotional states. And so there is a time to be compassionate, and there's a time to be anxious. And the healthy and well-adapted person has a very wide range of finely differentiated responses, which cannot be boiled down to a single dimension, say happiness versus unhappiness. Life is not that simple. Life is complex and tragic and difficult. And the problem with the public portrayal of the ideal state of humanness as happiness is that it makes all of these young people feel ashamed of their own suffering. They feel that if they're suffering and if they find their life tragic in its essence, that means that there's something wrong with them. And instantly that makes it impossible for them to communicate anything real about their own tragedy.
Okay, so there was two very, very important points made in this video. The first one is that inevitably you will hit something hard and suffer, and then what do? Yeah, you were diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Your son was diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It's about the worst freaking news you could have got. Your son is going to use a wheelchair, and his muscles are going to waste away, and he's going to die. Just about the worst fucking, excuse my French, news you can get. Right? What do you do with that if all you care about is happiness? You're screwed. You're going to go into a tailspin. You're going to be depressed. If your life is measured by happiness, your life immediately sucks because you've got a diagnosis that sucks. So what are you going to do? And the second point is, when we talk about life or happiness being the measure of life, if you don't somehow measure up, there's something wrong with you. You're a loser. It's your problem, when nothing could be further from the truth. Right? And it's gonna stop you from going to talking to your best friend, to your wife, to your support system, your father, whoever it is, your sister. You know, it's going to stop you. It's going to be like, I'm unhappy. This is somehow my fault, my problem, and I got to deal with it myself. And that's no good. That ain't going to help you. You're going to think you're somehow unique in your suffering. And it's not true. It's not true. You need to seek people out that you can talk to, that you can confide in, that you can talk about what's terrible, and you can talk to them. Those people are extremely important in your life. And if you measure your life off quote unquote happiness, it just doesn't jive. It doesn't make sense. All right. I want to share another very quick, 11 seconds, but I think it's a great point. All right. Just give me a moment here. Like you guys know, I got muscular dystrophy. It's hard and slow for me to do this. I appreciate your patience. And I'm only going to share 11 seconds.
Problem with the pursuit of happiness is that when life storms come along, happiness disappears, and then you're left with nothing. And so you need to pursue something that's deeper than happiness.
Your ultimate
Oops. All right, so I played an extra second there. But that's kind of playing off the first part. If your goal is happiness, it will be hit. It'll be knocked down. So you need a goal other than happiness. That's the first time he mentions it there. I'm going to tell you, and he's going to tell you later, that it's finding a meaning and finding a purpose. All right. Again, I'm going to play another video. Please be patient with me. I'm having a little trouble moving my left hand today, which is the one that controls my computer. All right. Excuse me, I'm just a little bit discombobulated. But this is me. This is real, right? So I'm going to show you. Sorry. Apologize it's taking so long. Here we go. Perfect. So I'm going to share a bit of this video as well. Just about 15 seconds. And then the last clip will be a bit longer.
To them clearly that life is suffering and that the purpose of life is not happiness. They actually experience that as a great relief. And the reason I believe that they experience it as a great relief is they already know it. You know, even
isn't that true? Don't we already know it, that life is suffering? We see it going on all around us. Your uncle's got cancer. The lady across the street's husband died of a sudden heart attack. The guy you know from work, his son was killed overseas in a war. Life is suffering. But out of that suffering, we can find meaning. I'm going to play one more clip for you. One more clip. Sorry. One more second. There we go. Isn't that a nice, calm, serene looking scene? It's almost as if somehow this green will bring me calmness and meaningfulness and happiness. No, not quite. All right, I'm going to play about a minute and 10 seconds of this.
It is that the purpose of life, given that, is to identify and follow a mode of being that makes life justifiable.
The purpose of life is to follow a mode of being that makes life justifiable. That's huge. That's huge. We'll come back to that.
Even given the radical necessity of suffering. If you're constantly in a state of placidity, satisfaction, and happiness, then nothing is going to affect you deeply enough. Not your own suffering, not the suffering of other people, not injustice, not the horrors of the world. Nothing is going to affect you deeply enough so that you'll become deep. And life without depth is, by definition, shallow and meaningless. And there's a problem that's associated with that. Because life is tragic and because life involves suffering, if your philosophy is shallow and meaningless, when you suffer, you'll become resentful and hostile and self-critical, and then you'll become cruel and destructive. And so not only is there a necessity for your own mental health to forthrightly confront the deepest questions of life, but if you don't, then you remain a danger to yourself and maybe more importantly to others.
Wow. Wow, that's huge. If you don't deal with the suffering, you become cruel, resentful, bitter, and that's no way to live. Out of suffering, he said, we find compassion for others. It is the suffering of myself and others is the reason why I've decided to make these YouTube videos, to become a coach for people with muscular dystrophy and their family members and other people with disabilities. It's out of these things that we see, that we find purpose, that we find meaning. Maybe your mother's a nurse and she takes care of sick people in the hospital. Maybe your father's a firefighter and he saves people from horrible situations. Maybe your daughter works for a charitable organization bringing water to places that don't have water. Maybe your son with muscular dystrophy. Maybe he writes letters to people in prison who are lonely and need someone to talk to. It doesn't have to be big, but we can find meaning and purpose in the suffering of ourselves and other people. All right? Yeah, it's emotional. It's hard for me to talk about. But if you need help, please contact me. Facebook /Coaching Josh. I can help you out. I recommend you read those books. Please do. It helped me immensely. I hope it can help you too. And I want to make a plea. If you are really suffering, if you are thinking that not existing is better than existing, it's hard for me to talk about. If you are there and you're in that spot, speak to a friend, speak to a loved one, or call up a help center in your area and you tell them, and they will help you. And you will learn that your suffering is not pointless. It is what is going to give you meaning and purpose. It is what's going to take you out of despair. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to be posting more. You can count on me. When I say something, I'm going to do it. That I'm going to do, I'm going to do it. You can count on me. So if you would, I know this sounds silly, but hit the thumbs up. I'll share it on YouTube. Please subscribe. You'll see my videos. Hit the bell for notifications so you're notified when a video goes up. Share it, please. Share it with your friend who has muscular dystrophy. Share it with your grandmother who they're afraid for their grandson. Share it, please, with people who need it. Share it on Facebook. Share it wherever. And if you need help, contact me. Thank you very much. I hope in your suffering, because you will have suffering, that you find purpose and meaning and then some happiness. All right. Thanks again for watching. I'm Joshua Courtleaf. Take care.